My name is Errity Green, and this is Wise Women Oracle and Tarot. Today, I am bringing you a pick a card reading on your next adventure. So, I look forward to sharing this with you. If you find that you do enjoy this reading, that it speaks to you at a deep level, I encourage you to like, subscribe, press the bell icon. That way you receive notifications every single time a new reading pops up. Of course, if you want to know more about me and my work, you can check out the details below or visit erritygreen.com and sign up for my newsletter. Last but not least, I do have two other YouTube channels, Psychic True Crime and Wise Women Television, where me and other women connect, chat, and collaborate on topics on spiritual, personal, and professional growth. So, without further delay, I will place a picture up of your 3 card piles to choose from today. All right, so card pile 1, let's get started. Your next adventure, people really want something, I feel like, physical, like a material manifestation for their next adventure. But I think this unfolds for you. It unfurls, it naturally blossoms and flourishes as you step into a deeper embodiment and expansion of self-love. So the card that's here is, I free myself from critical thoughts toward my body and worth. Oops. You come into greater love, care, tenderness, warmth, and understanding for yourself. You start to really see your worth and value. I feel like so much warmth, tenderness, and compassion, a genuine felt sense connection to your own worth, to your own value, to being kind and good to yourself. So much of this, of course, is connected to how much we are willing to allow ourselves to receive, to experience. A lot of this can be subconscious, and that we are desiring for, seeking for, wanting for something more, bigger, different, an improved circumstance, relationship, job, career, sense of purpose, whatever that is, experience of aliveness. But ultimately, we are the ones who limit ourselves. It's up to us what we seek out. It's up to us what we're willing to say yes to. It's up to us where we place our standards. It's up to us as to what we experience in our reality. Now, so often those who have an experience or a history or a background of critical thoughts and or a relationship of self-hate or self-loathing, whether you'd see it that way or not, so that history tends to be tied up with limitation, self-limitation, not allowing yourself to receive. Even down to, even though you want to let yourself receive, in the face of bigger, better, greater circumstances, you might clam up. You might be a deer in headlights. You might get really nervous. Your nervous system can't, quote unquote, handle it. It can't self-regulate. Your work is around loving yourself so much that you're ready to receive and experience the love outside of you, right? So the more love you can show and demonstrate to yourself, the more you're going to be able to experience in your external reality. So some of you, you might be seeking a next adventure in love, career, purpose, fulfillment in some external form. And yet it starts with, or at least begins with, or is partnered with love for yourself. The more that you can show yourself, the more you're going to be available for outside of yourself. So a simple example is, you might have always wanted to be gifted something on a certain holiday. And this is a really random example. I'm just picking something out of thin air so I can give you something really practical and to the point and very simple and relatable. You've always wanted a certain kind of gift, and yet, have you ever given that gift to yourself? Have you ever bought yourself a special gift, a gift that's aligned with that or on a certain day, right? Maybe you're seeking a massage or if your nails to get done, and yet you never actually do that for yourself. Some of you just want a break, you want space, but do you ever set your boundaries up and ensure that for yourself? You might expect or want someone to say something precious to you, to hold you in a space of sort of being cherished, and yet have you said those own words to yourself? Literally, have you said those words to yourself, and have you held yourself in high regard, right? So if we haven't done it for ourselves, it's usually going to be something that's difficult for us to be able to accept and receive from someone else. But your next adventure is really claiming this, owning this. I feel you coming alive. I feel you opening your heart. I feel like you blossoming, your wings opening and expanding, and really stepping into the fuller or fullest expression of you that does honor itself, that does love itself, that can hold itself in high esteem and high regard. It feels really beautiful, and it also feels like tender, warm, compassionate, where you are coming into a greater experience and expansion of self-love, and thus that's able to also materialize in your external reality because you're allowing it. You're no longer limiting yourself and saying, oh, I'm too scared to actually receive that or hold that or be that or experience that or whatever. We don't often realize how much we are holding back from what it is that we want most. So as an example, I'll share a personal example with you because this might resonate for some of you. In the past, I've always yearned for someone to cherish me, to love me in the context of romantic or intimate connection. And while this was true for me, anytime someone who came into my reality, who cherished me, who sent poetry to me, who performed music for me, who loved me, who gifted things to me. Now, I'm not like this anymore, but at the time it would actually scare me, right? I'd want to run in the opposite direction. I'd want to avoid it. And this is still a practice for me today to be able to openly receive. However, for so long, as much as I wanted emotional availability, tenderness, support, love, I would actually wall up, hide, turn away, or run for the hills in the face of it. So do you see how we can own or experience two sort of dichotomous desires? We're saying one thing consciously, but subconsciously we're limiting ourselves. And so you come into a greater love within yourself, especially around body and worth. So for some of you, how this will end up manifesting or materializing is greater body care, health, well-being, fitness. It could be around finances, career, purpose, especially because we have body here that's very much connected to earth, which is also very much connected to pentacles, in the tarot, which of course translate into finances, career, purpose, body, health, home. So you might see a materialization or manifestation or adventure around that area as well. So you come into a greater connection of self-love with yourself. Some of you are going to say, well, yeah, I get that, Errity, but what can I do practically speaking? So much of my own work with myself, my inner work, is inner child work. It's connecting to the deeper parts of me that are scared, tender, or fragile. Telling those parts of me what it needs to hear, giving it what it needs, supporting it to come into greater emotional maturity and step into an empowered sort of adulthood within itself so that it can make a choice like, hey, I'm taking a break, or hey, I'm phoning a friend, or hey, I'm setting a boundary, or hey, I'm sharing my feelings and my truth. So those are a lot of ways to begin to honor and love yourself. Your relationship with you is going to look uniquely different, and it's going to be based on all the ways that you've withheld yourself in the past or limited yourself in the past. Those are the ways in which you're going to begin to honor yourself now, honor your own needs, honor your voice, your truth, your feelings, and begin to nurture and nourish yourself. So what else is here? Yeah. So you begin to, if you're not there already, because I feel like some of you are already on this, and this is going to be an affirmation or validation and acknowledgement of how far you've come. But for some of you, you might be at the beginning stages of this journey, but we have another card around self-love. I am at home in my body and at peace in my spirit. This is a great homecoming, a great return to your more authentic self, your true self, your higher self. Again, where you're not occupying or taking up residence in a lack of self-worth or self-criticism or self-loathing or insecurity or not believing you're enough. You're really starting to see your worth and value, and you're coming home to the truth. You're taking an engaged stance here. You're participating more consciously. It's becoming real. Maybe it was something you wanted before, but now you're actually experiencing it. You're practicing it. You're seeing the beginning fruits of your labor. Perhaps this has been a practice for some of you for a time. You've been on the journey of greater self-care, self-love, and now you're starting to see it show up in intimate relationships or romantic relationships. You're starting to see it show up in friend and family amicable relationships. You're starting to see it show up in the kind of offers and opportunities you receive, what you're willing to say yes to, what you do say yes to, what you can hold, what you can receive. You're starting to see and experience it in your actual physical reality. Yeah. Just amazing how these all connect. I love myself completely and unconditionally. You know what this is? It's making peace with yourself. It's making peace with yourself, coming home to yourself. how beautiful, how liberating is it to be able to just be at peace with who we are? To let go of all the judgments, to let go of all the needs to fix or to improve, or I wish I was better, I wish I did this better, I wish I said this better. You're learning to make peace with yourself, make resolve with yourself, and let yourself be, maybe even let yourself make mistakes, let yourself be human. You're letting yourself off the hook. You're letting your hair down. You're letting it all be okay. You're letting yourself be okay. There's such beautiful freedom here. For some of you, I still feel a gap, in terms of, where you hold yourself, what you expect of yourself, what you want to change, and where you are. But at any moment, you can let that go. You can let that be freed. And for some of you, that might have happened just in that moment. Just being aware of it, allowing it, receiving that. Because there's always energy healing available here in these readings. This is all shadow work. This is all diving into the subconscious. So much of this channel is getting to know yourself more deeply and being able to liberate yourself. Where are we? Love and intimacy flow into my life effortlessly. Absolutely. So again, we talked about how this is going to start showing up. Some of you, this level of self-love, this new adventure might come in the form of new love, new romance. It could be renewed love, renewed romance for those of you already in partnership. But I feel like for most/many of you, it's more of because you're occupying and residing within a part of yourself that loves yourself in a deeper, truer, more expansive way, that sees your value, that really lets yourself be, that lets yourself be human. All of those things that we've been talking about, you're now in a position to receive all sorts of magic and miracles, manifestations, money, whatever that is that you might have been holding at arm's reach up until now. You're allowing it to sort of encroach. You're allowing it to join you, to become a part of you. Let me see. I feel like there's one other thing that wants to come through here. Yeah, you're honoring yourself, your truth, your voice, your needs. What else is here? You're letting life be intimate with you. You're letting love be intimate with you. So a lot of times if we feel insecure or unworthy of love, again, we keep life at arm's distance, just outside of arm's reach. We give ourselves just enough, just the morsel, just enough. We'll settle for scraps because we're not even ready to receive it. Now you're willing to open up to life. You're willing to receive from life. For some of you who might identify as more of the feminine energy, you're able to receive and sort of be penetrated by God, right? The eternal, the great masculine, the high masculine. And what I mean by that is, again, if we feel insecure, we tend to pull back, hold back, and have a gap between us and life itself, have a gap between us and fulfillment, us and success, us and praise and accolades, us and other people, and we never feel truly connected with, but it's actually us who's not allowing ourselves to receive that love and intimacy, likely because there was always that gap there with our caregivers, authority figures, or parents or parental figures from childhood. And so we mimic and mirror and experience those same relationships over and over again, therefore never feeling fully met, fully received, fully loved, fully held. But it's because we are choosing, whether consciously or otherwise, and perpetuating relationships that will mimic that same gap. So you're coming into sort of a great reconciliation, great homecoming, return to self, being at peace with self, with life, so that you can open up and actually receive life and all that it wants to give and gift to you, all that love wants to give and gift to you. You're coming into greater intimacy and harmony and union with self, God, life, cosmos, spirit, universe, world, earth, nature, so that you can experience greater abundance. We allow ourselves to be loved. We allow ourselves to receive love. We avail ourselves to all the myriad forms, the diverse forms of love, top to bottom, left to right, holistically all around. And you're going to be experiencing that in this next chapter. That is your next adventure. So card pile 1, if this resonates for you, I encourage you to like, subscribe, share your story below, tap the bell icon. That way you receive notifications moving forward anytime a new reading is posted. If you want to get to know more about me or purchase a personal reading, you can do that below or visit erritygreen.com. Until next time, thank you, card pile 1. Card pile 2. Card pile 2. Now, some of you are going to love this. Some of you it's going to land. Some of you are going to be resistant to it. That's the God's honest truth. When I pulled these cards, and of course, they're already here and laying out, but like when I lay them out, as soon as I turn them over, I start getting all sorts of stuff, and I'm like, why? I haven't gotten there yet. Yours is all about health, body, well-being. For some of you, it might be fitness. But this is about coming into greater conscious relationship with self and body, health practices, well-being specifically. Okay, so your next adventure is more health, having a greater relationship and connection, and conscious connection, relationship with body, with food, with movement, with physicality, really connecting with your human vessel, human form, human body, your connection to earth, which would include all those aspects around earth and body, like movement, like we said, physical activity, even energy work, but moving it through the body, as well as food. There's an upgrade that wants to happen here, that is happening here. It's well underway. If you're watching this card pile 2, this is already underway. It doesn't mean that you're there and fully embodied yet, right? This is your next adventure. It's what's on the way, but it's very much simmering, percolating, is happening. You can't like avoid it or undo it. It's something that you deeply want when you're honest with yourself, as much resistance as you might have. And there's a lot of emotion coming up here for card pile 2. Why, of all things, you wouldn't think, but I feel like this actually is a deeper embodiment and expansion of self-love than you ever given yourself, because it takes an incredibly self-loving human being, an incredibly self-loving spiritual being, or being in general, to be able to hold itself in such high regard that it insists on or commands or has a standard for the level of care and tenderness and love and warmth that it gives its own body, that it gives its own body vessel. I feel like so much of your challenges, for many of you, this may not resonate for all, but a lot of your challenges when it comes to health, body, food, physical movement, physical activity, things related to earth, all around, actually has to do with your experiences in childhood, whether with caregivers, authority figures, parental figures, or parents. It's almost like a direct correlation around the love you did or did not receive, or the amount of nourishment and nurturing that you did not receive. And so this is a manifestation of that experience. Now, if that doesn't connect with you, this could be a past life thing. If you don't subscribe to that, this may not be the reading for you. But I think most of you, that's going to resonate and land, maybe even be an aha moment. And it might look and feel a little bit different for each and every one of you, but I do feel like you sort of keeping this greater health and well-being just out of arm's reach or at arm's length is a reflection and materialization or manifestation, a direct correlation to the amount of nurturing and nourishment that you received as a child, specifically around the mother wound for some of you. So what I'm finding is you have this rebel spirit within you. I mean, we have it right here. You have this rebel spirit within you that sort of wants to sabotage and F this up and like, no, I won't do it and I won't do it now. So you have this part of you that does desire conscious health, conscious beingness, you know, being more conscious with your body, with your food choices, with your physical movement, all that stuff. But there's another part of you that almost fights it, and it's could be because of fear and because of what you're not used to and accustomed to. It's outside of your comfort zone. And of course, it wants to mimic those early childhood experiences and keep love and nourishment and nurturing at arm's reach or at arm's length, because that's what you experienced when you were younger. I feel like there's something else too. It's almost like F the man, you know, I'm not going to do what I'm told. There is some kind of rebel spirit against authoritarianism or a rule or conditioning where you're like, you don't want to have to follow the rule for the sake of following the rule. And I feel some of you, this might even be in the form of body positivity as well, where it's actually, you know, it's healthy as well, you know, having that body positivity and approving of your body just as it is. But there's this check-in that's being requested and saying, okay, is this coming from a true and authentic place or also from fear, from not letting love in? So really checking your habits and your choices and seeing where it's being sourced from. Is it coming from a place of self-sabotage and a lack of self-love and a lack of letting yourself really expand beyond all of your limits and become your fullest self-expression and fullest embodiment and expansion into love? Or is it truly an authentic inspiration? Is it coming from self-love or not, right? So I feel like you have this rebel spirit that might limit you or hold you back or impose into coming into greater health, connection, relationship with your body and your health, and yet you might see it as something that's like good when In fact, it might not be in alignment with your truest values. So just checking and seeing, is your rebel spirit serving you or not serving you, right? Is it going against you or is it working for you, right? Just like any tool, every tool can be good for us, and any tool can also become or be a limit for us. You know, is it truly serving us or is it not? Does it have power over us or does it not? So like our rebel spirit can either work for our cause or work against us. You know, I have a lot of clients who have a rebel spirit and it works to sabotage their discipline, sabotage any structure, sabotage any effort at actually creating and doing the thing that they want. Well, it's great to have that inner rebel spirit, but use that fuel, use that fire toward your values, toward what it is you actually want. You don't use it to sabotage every effort at doing what you want to do. Because I feel this, like, you know, almost like sensual aliveness that wants to come through, right? This greater awakening of the body, of its senses, of its aliveness, even of its sensuality, maybe even its sexuality, where it comes into greater power, confidence, and prowess of who it is, a part of your next level, a part of your next chapter, of your self-love, of your newest potential. It's sort of like the supreme kind of experience and relationship that you can have with this body. How amazing. The most conscious relationship you can have with this body, such that you're in tune with your emotions, you're in tune with your sensations, you're in tune with your rhythms, your hormonal rhythms and fluctuations. You know what your body's telling you, what the messages are telling you. You know, you're using it as a messenger, you're using it as a tool, you're getting to know it, you're creating intimacy with it, you're letting it be an extension of you, not a disembodied, sort of disconnected, oh, that's my body and this is me kind of thing. But this is all of me, and I honor it as well as I honor my spirit. Some of us, when we go on these conscious journeys and personal spiritual growth, so on and so forth, we get disconnected where our mind is journeying, right? We're doing all this growth and journeying in the mental plane. We're spending a lot of time in our heads, and the awareness is cool and fun, and intellectualism is super sexy and all these things, but we haven't let it all the way enter the body, you know, feet on the ground, down through the roots of the earth, and really connected with our primate, you know, our inner animal, our inner urges and instincts. The more disconnected we are to those things, the more power they have over us. The more we make it a bad thing, judge our bodies, judge our impulses, judge our instincts, our raw desires, our urges, our compulsions for food and substance and sex and all those things. The more that we judge them, keep them at bay, repress them, the more power, ironically, that they have over us, and the more they can consume us, possess us, and take over, and then lead us into addiction or compulsive behaviors or toxicity in some way. So it's like getting to know this, letting it be part of you, becoming the conscious animal, the conscious primate, you know, really owning this body and coming alive at the cellular level, not just at the level of consciousness, but the cellular level, your DNA coming online, all parts of you. It feels like the whole embodied spiritual human being. It's like, it's actually the ultimate true awakening. Bottom up, you know, versus top down, you know, which is maybe what you've journeyed up until now. If you're on this channel, I'm going to assume you've journeyed at least somewhat. Otherwise, how would you be here? This is a bottom up awakening that wants to happen from the earth, from your roots to your feet, to your root chakra, all the way up. Cellular DNA level, where you are coming into greater contact, connection, deep, harmonious, and conscious relationship with your very DNA, with your very cells, with your bodily architecture, your physical actuality. It's like, it feels like the Renaissance man, you know, the Renaissance woman, like that kind of energy of the new human. The new human, like this is what wants to come through for you, but you've pushed it off, pushed it away, pushed it afar. I think it's actually that you're scared of your legacy, maybe that you're scared of the heightened heights that are possible for you, that you are scared of the good. You might very well be scared of how good you can possibly have it, because if you truly did it this way, and there isn't some perfectionism either, because I feel like an authoritarian kind of perfectionist also that comes up that wants to kind of take over and then govern this. Oh, if that's what needs to happen, okay. You know, then you have this fight between the governor, the rule, you know, the ruler, the dictator, and your rebel, and they're at odds. The perfectionist who has to be high standards and command and you know, and conscious eating and health and perfect, you know, all of it, you know, perfect everything. Then you have the rebel that's like, F you, and they're just at odds, and it's like the angel and the devil on the shoulder, but neither of those are your ultimate truth. So it's like doing away with the governor, the dictator, the totalitarian ruler, doing away with the rebel spirit will no longer be required. If you don't have that inner dictator, The opposite pole of the rebel will no longer be required. They will both dissolve into ether, and you get to decide from a body level, from a body respect level, from an earth primate primal level, to honor your body and to come into greater connection and conscious relationship with it and all that is used to nourish and nurture and support it. And it comes from a deep, authentic level, from soul, from spirit, from the goddess, from the great feminine, from the eternal. It's something very deep, profound, but also primal. It's almost like science and spirituality, body and spirit coming into marriage with each other. And what's interesting is that it was always it coming together. It was always the initiate, the beginning point. It was both. And yet as humans, we tend to experience it differently, like human and spirit, or even a marriage, but that assumes that they were ever separate. This is very deep, card pile 2, but it's what's coming up. It was like 0 point was both. And you're going to discover that connection, that deep relationship through this next level. Your next adventure is going on this journey. You're continuing because you're already it's well underway. But I think at some levels you're stopping it or holding it back or putting on the brakes. Just surrendering it, letting yourself be totally consumed by this experience, by this awakening, by this rebirth, that it's like you're going to be swallowed by this. I feel like it's like the snake swallowing its prey, but ultimately it comes into greater alchemy and it can shed that skin. Letting yourself be swallowed by this, and then like coming into next level human being. Like, what? Has to do with conscious healthy eating, conscious healthy connection with the body, conscious healthy nurturing and nourishment of the body, conscious healthy connection with earth and its abundance and its medicines and its foods and its plants and all the things, and movement and aliveness and sensuality and all the things. And a lot of this has to do also with play. Shocked we haven't gotten here yet. I know this is a little bit longer than card pile 1's reading, but I'm going to follow the flow here and really honor what wants to come through for card pile 2. It's obviously very important, but a part of this, it's like this physicality, this level of connection with your body is also connected to how much you allow yourself to play, because this journey should be playful. It should be fun. It should be childlike, again, even sensual. And I know people are like, childlike, sensual in the same sentence, and it's like, well, we've kind of disconnected those and made sensual sexual, but in truth it's all the same. Children are very much embodied. They're connected to their 5 senses, even their 6th sense. It's all one experience. It's not, oh, I'm seeing this and I'm hearing this, and it's all one big experience of connecting to the physical and the spiritual and the human and all the things. And they're not separating work from play. That's all conditioning. That's all what we've been accustomed to culturally, societally. You're coming into an experience of coming alive in your body such that you're able to play, that almost everything becomes play. Again, this feels like next level human. Like, it's something that I don't know if it's a frequency that I've ever tapped into. And it's interesting that it's coming through health, body, physical, play, child. It's like all of this is one and the same. Sort of your inner child, your wonder child coming alive and coming into greater play and letting it sort of, making life its playground, so to speak, as well as the sensual awakening and primal awakening, a connection to earth, body, food. It's like all of it's one and the same. And I want to ask spirit, or even whatever is coming through here, in terms of if we could even have one word or theme to really bring this full circle. Conscious body connection really feels like it's most relevant here. We'll see if any other words want to come through as well. But it's like you connecting with your body is what then allows everything else to come through. This conscious body connection then allows, this deeper connection and relationship to your instincts, to your aliveness, to your very DNA and cells, and awakening at that level. It's connecting to your emotions and your urges and your compulsions, getting a deep harmonious relationship with those, even your urges and your primal sensations, things like that. It's coming into, again, we talked about how this also connects to play, but also what you feed yourself. And it's like, it doesn't even feel like, okay, now I go to the gym and I count my calories. It doesn't feel like that. It doesn't feel dogmatic. It doesn't feel governed like that. It's primal. It's instinctual. It's becoming the animal. It's truly allowing the animal within you. But it's ironically, the animal within you is also and was always spirit speaking. Now, isn't that interesting? And what it reminds me of is how Mother Nature, we tend to think as animals as like brutal, like there's some level of brutality there, and these beasts who eat each other, and it's like, oh, that's problematic, and we act like we're better and above that, and yet probably worse. But they're just living life. Life is living through them. There is no kind of inner dictator saying this or the other, or rule or suppression and rejection of self. It's just like nature being and living itself, embodying itself. And like that's what you become through this. Whoa, you become the highest pinnacle of who you are through this. Like you become your highest self. You become the enlightened being, the Renaissance man, the Renaissance woman through this connection. Wow, this is incredible. So you go from someone who might not always feel entirely satisfied. You might even be someone who experiences tiredness, low energy, kind of feeling in the doldrums, depression, numbness, exhaustion, even confusion, dullness in mind, body, spirit, dullness in body, moving slowly, things like that, to alertness, aliveness, acuteness. And it's not just mental, it's through all layers of the body. Take a look at this picture and what happens. This is who you become. How incredible is that? It says, with a steady mind, I am connected to our collective experience. So I feel like through this experience, you come into greater union, connection, communion with God, Great Spirit, cosmos, universe, eternal, the great mother, mother nature, all that is, with life itself. Through this conscious body connection, you come alive and you become all that is. Powerful, powerful new adventure. Definitely the greatest adventure of your life. Card pile 2, if not at the pinnacle of human experience, what comes through for you. I almost want to ask how it's done. I can't help it. Which card deck we want to use? How is it done? Can you give us? Okay. Yeah, we already know that. Nothing that we haven't already talked about, but I will go through it briefly here. So right now it might be something that you've yearned for, wanted, sort of from afar, made it a dream, a yearning, a desire. Of course, it only feels like a desire when it's separate from you. We've talked about some of the ways you've separated yourself from it and kind of looked down on it or rejected it, judged it, kept it at arm's length, made it different from you. What's going to come through here is a union and harmony with body, with self, with all aspects of self, even instincts, urges, impulses. It's going to happen through your sort of creative aliveness, through connecting with your body instinctually in every moment and moment to moment and the present moment, right? So as opposed to going by that rule book, by the governor, by the dictator within, it's going to be connecting with your sensations, your instincts, your impulses, moment to moment to moment. It's literally just getting to know yourself, becoming more intimate with yourself, getting to know the body itself. How does it feel? How does it feel now? And how does it feel now? And how does it feel now? Getting to know yourself at all those layers and levels. And it's going to be a moment to moment, rich, vibrant kind of awakening and experience that happens not slowly, but it's going to happen through a journey of moments, that you're going to discover in the moment what's going to occur or what to do or whatever, as opposed to, again, a rule book or a strategy or a guiding principle that I can offer you here. It's now that you have the awareness, it's connecting to your primal instincts, it's connecting to your inner sensations, body experience, emotions, and more, and letting those begin to become a part of your experience, letting them become something that is more of value to you. And through all of that, just that deeper connection, right? Conscious body connection, everything else is going to unfurl or unfold or materialize and manifest all on its own. So card pile 2, if this resonates for you, I encourage you to like, subscribe, do press the bell icon. That way you receive notifications for every reading moving forward. I do offer personal readings. You can check out those details below or erritygreen.com. And with that, I thank you. I look forward to hearing your stories in the comments. Please do share. Tell me, you Renaissance man or woman, how this is going for you. And I'll see you next time. Okay, card pile 3, your next adventure. Card pile 3, I feel like you are coming into a place of greater surrender, greater trust, greater harmony, really sort of making peace with life, making peace with the changes and unfoldings of life, really coming into greater harmony, connection, trust with life, with the flow, really trusting what comes up. It's like Perhaps up until now, you could be someone who gets attached to results, you know, or attached to timelines, or attached to how things are going, or problems that are coming up. It's like you can easily get attached to sort of your perspective of how the situation is unfolding, or the circumstances or conditions, as opposed to sort of surrendering all of that and resting in the great mystery of life, and resting into life as it is, and sort of letting things pass. So it's kind of like walking upon a street or a path or a sidewalk, and while if it were up to life as it is, each person or thing that you encountered would just come up and pass you, right? You know, and this person comes up and walks past, and this person comes up and walks past, and maybe this carriage and then this thing, right? And that's just how life actually is. But you might be the person who up until now would take up issue or cause or something with every single thing that passed. So it's almost like something that was passing you by. You came up, hey, what's going on? And I have a problem with this, you know? And that's like a metaphor, right? Or an analogy as to how, you know, life is just happening. We're the ones who make it a thing, right? We're the ones who make it mean something or make it a problem. It doesn't actually have to be a problem. And I feel like you're coming into, in your greater maturity, an experience of life where you just let life be as it is. You let life flow as it is. You're coming into just greater peace, you know? It reminds me of that elder kind of energy, or crone kind of energy, and it's a sliver of this, where it's like, you are not going to take up issue with every single thing. Like, you're not going to talk to every person who knocks on the door and wants to sell you Girl Scout cookies, right? You kind of let life be, you let life happen. You're just in the flow, and you trust and you allow. That's what your next adventure is. Trust, flow, allow. You're not making making things big issues, big problems. You're not turning molehills into mountains. You're not making any like kind of small hurdles, big obstacles. It's just like, you let life be. You kind of got a feel for how life goes now. Like, you're not taking up issue with every single thing that pops up. You know, we all experience daily challenges and problems, and some people might see those daily challenges and problems as incredible obstacles and battles they have to fight, and they put on their armor and they get their weapons and they're ready for war, and they're doing this every day with every problem, with every obstacle, situation, circumstance, event. That is tiring, exhausting, draining, and ultimately futile, because the problems still come, the hurdles still arise, challenges come. It's all just things coming and going, and we can either be in an accepting, receptive state where we allow things to happen and we let them go just as easily, or we can be in a state of battle, fight, warriorship, where we not only are challenged to let it arrive and arise, but then we don't want to let it go, because now we're so hyper vigilant in it, it's difficult to even release it. So you are stepping into a beautiful experience of resting in greater surrender. I mean, surrender, right? We said trust, flow, allowing, but it's surrender. Your next adventure is the great state of surrender. And it doesn't even feel like great. It feels like the divine state of surrender. It feels like resting easy going, letting it be peaceful, letting it be easy, like chill. And as a result, I find you enjoying life. I find you feeling content with life. I find you feeling fulfilled by life itself, by every breath, by the tiniest taste of, a delicious beverage, or even a glass of water, a call from a friend. Everything is simple, flows easy, and you are just so satisfied and satisfactorily, if that's a word, content. Like, it's just easy and it flows, and you are aligned with life itself. Let's see what else is here. Yeah, so you allow, it's so interesting that I got the energy of simplicity, because we have the card of ordinariness. And I feel like you allow yourself to just experience the ordinary, as well as to experience the extraordinary in the ordinary, because you've sort of taken your gaze and your focus off the problems and the challenges and the stress and all that stuff. And you've stopped making it a thing. And you've realized that you can just let things arise and let them go. You've come into greater harmony, greater trust. Now you can just live your life, right? It's waking up, it's chopping wood, it's carrying water, it's going to sleep. It's waking up, it's chopping wood, it's carrying water, it's going to sleep. And you rest easy and you wake easy, and you are grateful for the sunrise and the sunset. And it's like, again, that kind of energy of you get to a point where the battles just aren't worth fighting anymore. The dramas really aren't as dramatic as they once were. You're not overly attached or invested in any kind of outcome or result or a person doing or showing up a certain way. It's kind of like we're a lot like that in our earlier years and 20s and things like that. And over the period of life, we realize we can control nothing. So just might as well sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. And I feel like you come into that space of allowing, such that you can truly enjoy the fruits that this life has to offer. And you enjoy the miracle of the moment, the extraordinary and the ordinary. You're no longer waiting for life to show up or to do something different or better or whatever. You're letting it all be, and you're resting easy. What a beautiful, easy life. Yeah, let's see what else is here. Let me see what else is here. I feel like there's a deeper message. Just give me a moment. And what's really beautiful is in this easygoingness, in this simplicity, in this resting easy, everything quiets. You know, where there might have been a lot of noise and chaos and problems and drama and voices and all this stuff for a long time, or at least a period of time, right? Because you gave it real estate in your mind. You never had to. But we grow up and we get to a point where we're like, nope. And so you let all of that kind of go by the wayside, and it quiets and quiets, and the dust settles and settles really, really well, so that you can kind of see, perceive, hear keenly, right? It's kind of like an animal in the woods. You hear the slightest little noise or movement or whatever, but you can also hear that within yourself. So you come into greater union, connection, and keenness with your own experience, even with what you want. And you find that you're more tuned in and tapped into what you truly, ultimately, deeply want. There's a refinement here. And I feel like you're coming into this great refinement within yourself, where you're recognizing you really didn't even need or want a lot of the things that maybe you thought you once did. And maybe even kind of pursuing those things is what brought a lot of heck, brought a lot of noise and a lot of chaos. We are like, listen, I can just sit here on my porch and chill, and that is just fine for me. But you're coming to a place where you can really connect with whatever it is that you want. But I'm finding for many of you, if not most of you, it's going to be those simple desires, those everyday desires where, wow, life can be this easy. Life can be this good, and I don't have to put my hands in the pot or make it happen or work really hard or, again, kind of steer this ship and make it all a thing. I can just let life come to me, let it be easy, and again, enjoy the ride. Let's see what else is here. Yeah, you trust yourself. You've trusted yourself at this point to manage any obstacle or challenge that comes your way. You're not really concerned. It's like you've been there, done that. You've probably faced every hurdle there is to face, or at least a flavor of that. You've been around the block at least once, if not a million times, and you're like, listen, I've seen the devil in a million different shades and flavors, I've met that devil in every man and woman, and it's like, I've seen it here and I've seen it there, and I've seen it all. Once I've seen it once, or at least a couple times, I've seen it every time. I've seen it all ways and forms, and it really doesn't scare me anymore, right? And once we come face to face with that, however many times, it's like, shoot, you have no power over me. Again, I can rest easy. Kind of has that Dude vibe, if you've ever seen that movie. What's the bowling movie? The Dude. I should know this, and I do know it. It's just sitting there somewhere in my long-term memory, not currently accessible. But it's like, the dude abides. You're just kind of chilling, and you can enjoy life, and you're not going to make it a thing. Things aren't really a problem. You trust yourself with anything that comes your way. Nothing's going to destroy you, and if it does, you're even kind of okay with that. You just come into great acceptance of all things. You've come into the, divine surrender, great acceptance, to where you can enjoy life just as it is, no matter what it looks like, and you're content, you're at peace, you're fulfilled. So that's your reading, card pile 3. If this resonates, if this lands for you, I encourage you to like, subscribe, do share your story in the comments, press the bell icon. That way you receive notifications every single time a new video pops up. If you want to get to know more about me, I do offer personal readings. You can check out my personal readings in my shop below, as well as my coaching programs. And with that, card pile 3, thank you, and I will see you next time.